I'd like to talk now about the litigation that has come out of the fraud. And it fits into several different categories. I'll speak first about what I'll call direct investor lawsuits, people who invested directly in the Madoff's funds. And then indirect lawsuits, which are the lawsuits from people who invested through a feeder fund or other type of hedge fund in the middle. Now, actually, very few lawsuits have been brought against Bernard Madoff or his company, Bernard Madoff Investment Securities, even before the stay went into effect, because, first of all, the receiver is in place. The view is that whatever assets belong to Madoff and can be fairly traced to Madoff, the receiver will garner for the benefit of all the investors. There's currently a stay on actions against Bernard Madoff, and his assets are frozen. Now, clearly, one important part of this investigation will be looking into where he may have buried assets around the world. But the suits which simply name Madoff as defendants are not really the principal focus of the litigation that's going to be going forward. There are some suits which have been brought by direct investors against their investment managers and advisors. Now, these are not fund cases because the individuals still invested directly in Bernard Madoff, but they did it through a friend who may have steered them to Madoff. And some of those suits have simply been based on the fact that those friends had not investigated Madoff, made certain representations that might be actionable. And there's at least potential claims, and some which are beginning to be filed, against accountants and auditors who may have been involved in some of these partnerships which invested directly. There's several other types of direct claims that may occur. One which arises from riders for theft and fraud on certain homeowners' policies. Those are generally small coverages, typically $30,000 or so. There may be some issues as to whether this is a single or multiple occurrence, but generally there's very limited coverage here, and there does not appear to be any access to umbrella policies that will sit on top of these homeowner policies. So there may be some litigation in this area. I'm not aware of any cases as yet, but this is, because of the nature of these coverages, a fairly limited source of recovery.